It is 12 noon. It is hour number 3 of Three-Man Front on this Thursday. Thanks for tuning us in. You can always watch the show on YouTube. Take us along wherever you go on the Jocks 94.5 app. Great listeners up in Huntsville, Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, Montgomery, and Mobile. Thanks for tuning us in, making us part of your day. A lot of coaching carousel talk, a lot of Lane Kiffin talk. Matter of fact, he is now the betting favorite for the LSU job. Matt Moscona from ESPN Radio down in Baton Rouge, he also tweeted out that although he's not on the list, Eli Drinkowitz is in serious play for LSU if they miss on Lane Kiffin. So we'll see if LSU does indeed miss. We heard from Brett Norsworthy just a couple minutes ago from WHBQ Radio, also part of the Ole Miss Radio Network, and he told us, Landrum, that he believes that what you're seeing now is probably going to continue throughout next week as well, which is really probably no resolution with what's going on with Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, and the relationship with Keith Carter and all of that good stuff. It's a really tough spot for Ole Miss. So if you're an Ole Miss fan, you hope that Lane Kiffin truly loves Oxford, doesn't want to leave, and that all of this is just speculation and LSU has to move on to their next person. I wonder, do you think Landry, if he ultimately goes to LSU, does he use Landry as a part of his decision-making? Is she still with Whit Weeks?
I believe she is.
Okay. He's got some eligibility left.
I believe that is also correct. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with Lane Kiffin as that story continues to percolate around college football, with Ole Miss being off this week as they get ready for the Egg Bowl. So we're trying to connect to Rob Pate, having some technical difficulties. So we'll try to get Rob on momentarily. But as we mentioned before, with Lane Kiffin, Matt Moscona also said yesterday on a podcast that LSU, if need be, they could go up to $16 million a year to pay Lane Kiffin, which is just a staggering number if that is indeed the case.
I mean, you're going over your budget with a fine-tooth comb, but up to 16, does it stop there? If you're Lane Kiffin and you're like, you know what, if it was $17 million, I'd absolutely they would do it, wouldn't they?
I mean, you're already going to be the highest paid coach, and then you're going to force Georgia's hand to up the ante you think Georgia folks are sitting over there going, oh, great. LSU's going to overpay for Lane Kiffin, and now we're going to have to pay Kirby Smart a lot of money.
Meanwhile, you've got Ryan Day waving at Ross Bjork going, hey, what about me? What about me?
Yeah, I haven't lost
We're the reigning
yeah.
national champions.
Yeah.
I want $23 million.
There's also been a story that has been out there about Kalen DeBoer. I really don't know where it started. I have tried to run this down from Pennsylvania media, but somebody out there keeps talking about the potential of Kalen DeBoer being a name of interest for the Penn State job. I have not heard that anywhere around Southeastern Conference. I have not heard that from Tuscaloosa. I don't know if that's just somebody throwing some names up on a board in Pennsylvania. But Rodney Orr, who was on this program an hour ago, he just posted something moments ago on his message board, and I don't think he would mind me reading this. But this is what Rodney just posted moments ago. Highly unlikely DeBoer has an ounce of interest in Penn State. I've learned to never say never, but I'd be more than little surprised if this DeBoer-Penn State stuff had any merit at this point. As for the smoke, it's all out there in the media and even in the coaching circles, but don't see it happening. That was from Rodney Orr, who just posted that momentarily on his website.
I don't either. I don't know. We'll see who they hire. I don't think the Penn State job is that desirable, because some people have portrayed it as a huge job, one of the best jobs in college football. I just don't believe it for several factors I don't want to get into, but I think that's why you're seeing the names or the lack thereof that you're seeing on that list. Now, ultimately, they could have that surprise candidate, but remember when they got James Franklin and we realized that all the horrible things that had happened there when he took over that program after Bill O'Brien had kind of righted everything. But I don't think it's a fit for Kalen DeBoer. I think it will take a unique situation that has a certain level of coaching success to want to go and jump into that. Just my opinion.
So I'd be interested to know if y'all kind of view this the same way that I do. And there's a couple things with it. First off, I feel like the reason, if these rumors were to be true, it would be maybe not so much of what Penn State can offer you, but it's the fact that maybe you bit off more you could chew with the Alabama fan base and the level of success that they expect you to have every year. I don't think it would be, oh, we're going to pay you more, or we can offer you the chance to field a more competitive team. It would be more so maybe Kalen DeBoer just didn't know what he was signing up for in the fervor that surrounds Alabama football. However, I also look at it and go, he's the guy that wanted the job after Nick Saban retired. If he took that job, you know what you're getting yourself into. If I just find it hard to believe that 2 years later you would then want to tuck tail and run because you had some struggles in your first 2 seasons, and you would go, well, never mind. I didn't want the pressure that came with this. I feel like if that was the case, you would have never taken the job in the first place.
Unless there were personal reasons. Like we saw with Jed Fish and his wife and his daughter that decided they wanted to move back to Arizona, right? That apparently Seattle was not the place for them. Unless there's some everything that Conrad said, I agree. Well, he knew what he was doing.
Well, yeah, he knew what he was doing, but I also find it really hard to believe that Kalen DeBoer, with a daughter that plays for the University of Washington, would go even further away from his daughter. If he's looking to get out of Tuscaloosa, which, by the way, I have not heard he's looking to get out of Tuscaloosa. This is obviously somebody up in the Northeast is throwing his name around for the Penn State job. I don't know the validity to that, but I'm just saying if he is looking, let's just say that is true, and that he would be looking for an off-ramp from Tuscaloosa. I would think that going west would be more likely than him going east, just based on the fact that his daughter is a star softball player at the University of Washington. He's from west of the Rocky Mountains. It just seems like if he were wanting to get out of Tuscaloosa, that would where he would try to find a landing spot, not Happy Valley, Pennsylvania.
I think it'd be more likely he'd go back to Washington than he would take the Penn State job. Or if USC were to open up, I could see Kalen DeBoer possibly entertaining something like that because he's been at Fresno. He's familiar with the area.
But he knew exactly what he was getting. I mean, my goodness gracious, you're following the greatest coach in the history of college football. The pressure think about what happened with Ray Perkins at Alabama following Bear Bryant, the kind of pressure that he was under. And of course, the media scrutiny was nothing to what it is now. Now, just like we talked with Rodney Orr, if they lose to Auburn in the Iron Bowl, then Alabama's not going to the college football playoff, which means in back-to-back years with an expanded college football playoff, Alabama's had one of the best rosters on paper than anybody in college football, and you don't make the college football playoff. There's some serious questions that will be raised if Kalen DeBoer is the future of Alabama football. Not saying that means that they fire him after the Iron Bowl, but you better believe that next year the hot seat is going to be squarely on his backside if he loses to Auburn. I mean, this will be a monumental collapse again under Kalen DeBoer for Alabama not making the college football playoff, period.
Oh, he'd be on the hottest seat of anybody in the country. No doubt about it.
Yeah. It is what it is, the nature of the beast. We saw what happened to Brian Kelly.
Alabama's not paying him $10+ million a year to not make the college football playoff.
No, and the reality of it, look, I get it. It's a rivalry game. Playing in Jordan-Hare, it's difficult. I'm not saying this in any way is disrespectful towards Auburn. But if you can't make the playoff because you can't beat, let's be honest, a bad SEC football team, first off, you have no right being in the playoffs if you can't beat Auburn. But you can't beat a 5-6 Auburn team to get in the postseason? Like that's unacceptable.
You're
if
right.
That's the case. It'd be the same thing if you were playing Kentucky to get into the playoff. You shouldn't even have to think twice about it.
Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right. So that's the pressure that he's going to face upcoming, and you're going to hear a lot of it next week because this, just like we talked about the last 2 years on paper, Alabama's had one of the best rosters in all of college football. On paper, this Auburn roster is the best Auburn has had in quite some time.
Yeah, bad record, not a talentless football team.
Yeah, it's not indicative of the talent that they have on the Plains.
Mm-hmm. Been really close.
To not get the W's.
Mm-hmm.
So you better get ready for next Saturday.
No, it's going to be an expletive storm.
Yeah. So you better get ready for that. The Courtesy GMC text line 205-834-9450. We will come back, get to your calls and your texts. Next hour, we'll go to Florida, find out what's going on with the Florida search. All that straight ahead on Three Man Front. It is 12:15 here on Jocks. Welcome back to Three Man Front. Abide Roofing is raising the roof. Literally, Abide Roofing is giving one deserving homeowner a brand new roof completely free. This isn't a gimmick. It's not a sales pitch. It's their way of saying thank you to the community that's trusted Abide Roofing with their homes. Here's how it works. You need to go to abideroof.com, look for the green bar at the top of the homepage. You can nominate yourself or someone who deserves it, then watch for the winning announcement coming up next month. Value is up to a 30-square roof, or roughly $13,000. Maybe it's someone who's fallen on hard times and can't afford repairs to the roof, or a single parent working 2 jobs that just is trying to make ends meet during the holidays. Maybe it's a veteran, first responder, or a teacher who's always giving back to others. Or maybe it's that neighbor who volunteers for every local event, just a true pillar of the community. Abide Roofing, they want to hear your story. So go to abideroof.com and tell them your story and nominate yourself or someone in the community that you believe deserves a brand new roof over this holiday season. Abide Roofing, they believe that everyone deserves a safe, reliable roof over their head, and this is their way of giving back. Enter through December 12th. Winner will be announced on December 19th. For complete details and enter, go to abideroof.com. That's abideroof.com.
We continue to have trouble trying to hook up with Rob Pate. We are efforting to arrange a time that works for Rob and the cell phone carrier that Rob is with. We'll continue with your phone calls, also your text, 205-834-9450 on the text line, but 800-239-WJOX on the phone lines. And our friend Beham Dog joins us now. Beham Dog, what's up?
Hey, what's up, guys? Hope you guys are doing well this afternoon.
Doing well.
Yeah, so to add on to the Penn State and DeBoer, I follow a lot of the message boards on On3, and this one caught my eye, and it's from one of their staff members, Nate Bauer. Now, this is just clearly speculation, probably rumors, but he did say, I just talked to a contact in Alabama. He told me it's not a great situation for DeBoer. He said he's miserable and really doesn't like coaching there. He also said most of the big-time boosters are also not happy with DeBoer. He went on to say there is a strong mutual interest between DeBoer, Penn State, /Kraft. Then the next, a couple hours later, says, from my Bama source, this is his paraphrase of what's going on at Bama. DeBoer is tired of getting beat down every day. He knows any loss could be his last. It makes it hard to coach. Bama is just very difficult. So it's interesting. Back to where there's smoke, there's fire. Now, I'm not thinking DeBoer's going to leave, but there's definitely there's got to be some chatter. I mean, you guys know how the social media and these staff members work. Is this just clickbait, or is this guy truly got some ties to Bama?
Well, I mean, some of the things that he outlined there, Kalen DeBoer, and I can go back to his press conference, but he was asked these specific questions about the pressure and all of that, and he said that he knew what he was getting into, and he wanted the challenge. So some of those reasons, and look, it's totally possible, Beham Dog, that he got there and he said, you know what, I thought I could handle it, but yeah, it's just too tough. It's too much of a grind on me and my family emotionally, but I don't see it. But there's a reason that guy's putting it out there.
That's really put your credibility on the line. I don't know if there's any such thing in the media today. Nothing against you guys, but these guys that
we're entertainers.
But
media sometimes.
They don't throw stuff out there unless it's. But these sites where it's driven by fans and members, man, they have to keep membership up. But I will say this, and my buddy of mine is a huge Alabama fan, Alabama alum, said it's kind of ironic that DeBoer is wanting to leave due to pressure, but yet Penn State fired a guy that averaged 10 wins a year. And so what kind of pressure pot would he be going into Penn State? And I just kind of reiterated. I think pressure at Penn State, Georgia, there's pressure everywhere. Everybody wants to win a national championship. But it's different in Alabama, man. It is just I'm not a fan of the team, but I live here. The pressure in Alabama is just different than any place in the country.
That's fair. That's fair.
All right, guys. Have a great day. Great job yesterday, by the way. Great job on Conrad. Y'all pulling that together for some needy families. Awesome
Thank you.
Job.
Hey, thank you,
much.
Beham Dog. It was our pleasure to serve.
I just go back to our previous conversation. I have a very hard time believing, as Beham Dog pointed out so succinctly in regards to you would leave a place at Alabama to go to Penn State, who they just fired their head coach because he did not have success winning games. So it's like you're flopping out of the frying pan into the fire.
Well, I mean, it's the same, but it's going to be different at their school. It's the same reason that I think it would just fly all over LSU fans if they hired Eli Drinkwitz. All right, why did you fire Brian Kelly?
I mean, you're getting rid of Brian Kelly, who had a really good resume, for Eli Drinkwitz.
Mm-hmm.
See, if I'm an Alabama fan, I would be more concerned if you heard, again, this is all hypothetical stuff, but like we've talked about Lincoln Riley, right? Like if the USC job came open and it's, hey, he wants to get back on the West Coast, that's where he's from.
That makes more sense.
That makes way more sense than like BM Dog and y'all laid out. Yeah, go to Penn State where if you don't make the college football playoff after 2 years, they're again going to want to fire you. And like you laid out, you're further away from your family. It's not – it doesn't make sense.
I don't think his daughter's going to transfer to the Penn State softball program.
I think there's –
I mean,
horrible.
because if she was going to go anywhere, she would have transferred
Correct.
to Patrick Murphy's team in Tuscaloosa.
Like I said, I think there's a better chance. I threw out if USC was open for some reason, I could see Kalen DeBoer, that being a fit. But I think he's got a better chance of going back to Washington and being the head coach of the Huskies than he does of going to Penn State.
Well, maybe Jed Fish ends up at Florida when Florida swings and possibly misses on Lane Kiffin. They got to go somewhere. Or maybe they go after Lincoln Riley. Lincoln Riley ends up in Gainesville. Then USC makes a phone call. Goes after Kalen DeBoer.
Kalen DeBoer. Brian Kelly takes the Alabama job.
Well, at least he's got his southern accent down.
Who's at LSU at this point? Yeah. I don't think it goes to that point.
I hope not.
And then Missouri hires Barry Odom back after Eli Drinkwitz goes to LSU.
And then Dan Mullen enters the fray somewhere.
Yes. He's at Bowling Green.
And Jimbo Fisher.
Yeah, Jimbo still wants to coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ed Orgeron?
Yeah.
Maybe Arkansas takes another turn at Ed Orgeron. Yurichek's busy. He doesn't have time for all this coaching search mess.
That's right.
He's trying to figure out a way to screw Alabama in the college football playoff.
James, welcome in.
Hey, guys. I hope I don't get this wrong, but I got a comment, then I got a question for you. I think I was listening to Kirby Smart being interviewed, and he was asked about the benefit of possibility missing the SEC championship game, and you could tell he was trying to take the high road, and, we want every game, we want to win every game, and this and that. I'm sitting here thinking, man, just call it like it is. It dang sure could be a benefit to miss the SEC championship game if you're going to get punished for losing it. Now, look at Alabama sitting here. What happens if they go to it and they lose to Texas A&M, and now they're a three-loss team? Do you think and this is my question, do you think they'd still make the playoffs?
See, me personally, I believe if you make the SEC championship game, you're in the college football playoff because the SEC under every metric is the toughest conference in college football this year, period. And you mean to tell me that you run an 8-game schedule and you finish number 2 in the league, because let's just assume Texas A&M goes undefeated. They beat Texas, and then Bama finishes 7-1. Then yeah, you should be in the college football playoff. Period. I don't care if you lose by 50 points in the SEC championship game. I'm still putting them in based on the full body of their work, which was the regular season against the toughest opponents in all of college football. And I would be saying the same thing if this was we were debating this about Georgia. I'd say the exact same thing about the Georgia Bulldogs. Or Ole Miss, based on the fact of the record.
So you got to basically then, and I completely 100% agree with you, but you got to basically get into the mindset of the committee. Are they going to look at it the way you just did, or are they going to look at that
well,
FSU loss?
That's the problem because they probably won't. Because I think it was very dangerous if you're an Alabama fan listening to what Hunter Yurichek said the other night. By Notre Dame being in front of Alabama, that is problematic for Alabama. Not to mention the fact the week before it was Hunter Yurichek, where it was Mack Rhodes, who was the athletics director at Baylor, who was the chairperson, he mentioned the fact that if you did get to the conference championship game and let's just say you laid a big old goose egg and you got beat pretty bad, that potentially could be another data point that the committee would use, which means that could potentially penalize that team that lost.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you a question, and I sincerely don't know the answer. I think I do, but I don't. Unless something changed. So, does Notre Dame have to play a championship game?
No, they're not in a conference. They will be done.
Yeah.
Yep, they will be done.
That's why I get year in and year out. I don't know. I get tired of. Maybe this year it's different. I get tired of all the love being given to Notre Dame. I don't get it.
Well, listen, they're not brave enough in that room because they really do. The 67 other schools that's considered Power 4 programs, if they had any, they would tell Notre Dame, if you're going to be a part of this group moving forward,
exactly,
you need to be in a conference. Like, I don't care. Be in the Big Ten. Be in the ACC full-time. Heck, go be part of the new Pac-12. I don't care. Just be a part of a conference because them getting preferential treatment, that needs to go out the door. That's garbage.
I think so. I think so too. Hey, I love your program. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for the call.
Thanks,
Appreciate
James.
that very much.
Appreciate it.
See, and to your point there, they would never do it, but it would be pretty cool to see. Let's take a BYU, for example, right? Let's say BYU goes 11-1, they lose in their conference title game, they go 11-2. For the committee to say, you know what? We're going to reward BYU, even though maybe we think Notre Dame's a better team, but you kind of force Notre Dame's hand and you go, all right, we'll save a spot for you in the playoff if there's nobody else that's comparable to you. But if somebody goes and plays in a conference championship game with you and they have the same record as you, you're out. Sorry.
Why don't treat them like a group of 5?
That's exactly my point.
Like you have to be ranked a certain number before we even consider you.
Yep. You're not going to play in a conference championship game. That's fine, but just know that that's going to open you up to be left out of a playoff if somebody else that goes and is on equal footing to you goes and loses a conference title game because it's a freebie for Notre Dame every single year.
Well, it's so funny is because Notre Dame, as long as I've been in this business, they have been the sacred cow, and they got their own television network. Basically now, because Under Armour has pretty much tanked as a company based on their stock prices, that ultimately Notre Dame's going to be the only Under Armour school left, and they just signed a new deal with them. So Notre Dame loves to be in their own because they believe themselves as a league of their own in everything. But you sit there and you look at the television ratings and it tells you a completely different story. And I posted this on my Twitter account at Pat Smith Radio about an hour ago because I was looking over some Nielsen numbers, and it's pretty staggering when you look at the teams that people in America love to watch this year in college football. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about for these advertisers and these networks. How many people are tuned into your games? Alabama is the most viewed product in all of college football, period. That's not coming from a Birmingham, Alabama-based radio show. This is coming from hardcore Nielsen television data. Alabama, 8.14 million people tune in to Alabama football every single weekend. Every single weekend. Doesn't matter who they're playing. 8.14 million. Coming in at number 2, Georgia, 7.35. Tennessee 3rd, Texas 4th, Oklahoma 5th, LSU 6th. Have you noticed a theme here? Top 6 from the Southeastern Conference. Have I mentioned Notre Dame? Mm-mm. Have I mentioned mighty Ohio State? How many Big Ten teams have I mentioned yet in the top 6? Because they're not watching them. Why? Is because their schedule is trash. There's no opposition. There's no competition. Every single week in the SEC is a soap opera on the field. That's what people are tuned in for. But the College Football Playoff Committee is going to tell us something completely different in regards to Notre Dame and everybody else. Finishing the top 10, just in case somebody is curious, Ohio State's number 7. Florida, a terrible football team, comes in with the 8th best viewing audience every single weekend in college football. Florida State, another team that's questionable. They're in the top 10. They're number 9. 4.92 million people tune in to watch Florida State and Gus Malzahn's offense.
That's what they're watching. It's just for Gus's offense because the rest of that team is.
And rounding out the top 10, the mighty Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They've got their own television network in NBC. 4.39 million people tune in for Notre Dame Fighting Irish football each and every week. But we're going to give them special treatment just so that we can make sure that the Fighting Irish get an equal shot at the college football playoff.
Yep. And as long as we continue to allow them to do it, they're going to keep doing it.
As frustrating
Get the
as it
Stones
is,
to make them join a conference.
I was about to say, as frustrating as it is, you have to give props to Notre Dame, right? Because they've done it. It works out great for them.
Don't the rest of the schools that make up college football, don't you have a say in this? Couldn't they force the hand of Notre Dame?
Sure they could.
Sure. So let's quit bitching and belly aching about it every season. We have a right to do so. It frustrates me too, but when is somebody going to do it? And it's not just SEC fans that note the bias that the media has towards Notre Dame.
Oh, they're going to get the benefit of the doubt. You better believe it.
Pulling for that Syracuse upset this weekend.
You might be waiting a while.
Don't think that's going to happen.
But what's crazy is we go over the schedules. We're doing our top 25 preseason every year, and we'll go through Notre Dame's schedule. And some years it's tougher than others. But we'll go through it, and maybe we see one loss or two losses. But what do we always say after we say that? Well, they'll still get in.
Well, the ACC screwed up because the ACC threw them a life preserver during COVID and said, hey, just come be a part of us this season, okay? Be a part of the conference this year because, we're going to give you an outlet because all these other schools that you typically play aren't going to play because they're masked up and they're scared. So come on over to the ACC. Be a part of the conference. Well, that was their opportunity. If you want to be a part of this conference this year, you're going to have to be a conference full-time the rest of the time.
If the service academies are part of conferences, then Notre Dame should be as well.
Better believe it.
And it's just football.
That's it. We're not asking for everything.
Well,
No, you already gave us basketball and everything else. Just football.
But they're an ACC member in every other sport.
I know.
Yeah.
Except football.
That nobody cares about in every other sport at Notre Dame.
I mean, if you're Notre Dame, if you're not scared, join the ACC and destroy everybody every single year. If you're so good.
No doubt. Or go be part of the Big Ten.
Or,
there you go.
Hey, call Greg Sankey. He will take your phone call. He's got a really good relationship with the athletic director there, right?
Bavacqua. Yeah. All right, more three-man front. Your calls are welcome. 1-800-239-WJOX. This is three-man front on Jocks.
12:36, three-man front on this Thursday. We got the NFL tonight. We got college football. We have coaching searches going on as we speak. One of them is at Auburn. Justin Hokanson reporting that DJ Durkin was asked if he's committed to staying at Auburn through signing day or a possible bowl game, regardless of whether he becomes the permanent head coach. The quote from DJ Durkin, "Our focus is to go 1-0 and win this game Saturday. That's everyone's focus in this building." So the Auburn search going on. The conversation continues to swirl around Lane Kiffin. We had Brett Norsworthy from the Ole Miss Radio Network on earlier. If you missed any portion of that with Brett, you can always find it there at jocksfm.com and the Three-Man Front podcast. But Brett has maintained that he thinks he stays there in Oxford. But pertaining to the Florida Gators, and we have a lot of Florida fans that also listen to our program, he does believe that if Lane were to leave, it would be for LSU, and he believes that Florida is no longer in the picture. So a lot of reaction to that, reaction to, I would say we call it smoke, if you want to call it that. A little bit of speculation, not that we're reporting anything from the Penn State side of things, that they're trying to fill that head coaching vacancy, and some discussion of one Kalen DeBoer at Alabama. 800-239-WJOX or 205-834-9450. They're on the Jocks text line.
Well, one of the other stories yesterday was it seemed like everyone was ticked off on the SEC teleconference. You had Sarkisian, you had Drinkwitz, you had Kiffin, all taking umbrage to certain questions. Let's hear from Steve Sarkisian. We read you the quote yesterday, but it'll be good for you to listen. He's continued on today in Austin, matter of fact. He is meeting with local media, and he's talking about, I had to deliver a message because people are starting to recruit against us, saying things about the University of Texas and the future of Steve Sarkisian. So I want to go back 24 hours. This is what Steve Sarkisian told the media. He had a message for everybody out there like Conrad that starts these rumors about him going to the Tennessee Titans.
Yes, I'd like to comment on something before I get into our team, something that has been bothering me now over the past few weeks, and that is people reporting that, or insinuating that there's a possibility I could leave the University of Texas, and that is absolutely false and untrue. I'm not going anywhere. Never do I do this because I never want to be a distraction, so I never address these things. But at this point now, I feel like that is important that I do this because it's important for our team. It's important for our university. I've had no discussions, not with my agent, not with the university, not with any other school, not with any NFL team, about ever going anywhere else. I came here to win championships. I've got 2 kids enrolled at the University of Texas, one in law school, one on our team. I've got a third that hopefully decides to enroll at the University of Texas next fall, and my wife and I just had our son here in Austin. This is our home. We came here to win championships. We've built a damn good football program over the 5 years that we've been here. We've been to 2 college football playoffs. We won a Big 12 championship. We went to the SEC championship game in year 1. We've had 23 players drafted the last 2 years, which is more than any other school in the country. And our team GPA is at an all-time high. So can we please stop putting things out there that you have absolutely zero evidence on? And then can we please stop retweeting, putting it back out there as if it's true, as if it's the gospel? It is not true. If you have a question about my future, call me or call Chris Del Conte, our athletic director, and we can set the record straight for you.
There you go, Steve Sarkisian. Not mincing words in regards to his future at Texas.
Guess it's nice to be talked about.
You want my spin on this?
I'd love to hear your spin.
I want to hear this since you're the one putting out all this crap.
Yeah.
Steve Sarkisian refuses to leave Austin because his team is too smart and too good in the classroom. Can't leave them. GPA skyrocketing.
Let me ask you a question. How many people do you think, if they called Chris Del Conte to ask him a question about Steve Sarkisian's future, do you think Chris Del Conte would return that phone call?
Maybe if it's Jimmy Sexton.
Yeah.
I think that's about the only person that you're going to answer the phone
I mean, that's such
for.
a bogus answer about, just call me. Okay. call you as in like you're open to a conversation because you won't let us watch practice. You won't let us do this in the facility.
But he held back for the last 2 weeks. He didn't feel that there was a need, but now he feels there's a need to address it. So is this players doing this, or is this reminding Texas people who didn't know that there are still some people that really, really want his services, and you better value what you got, and I'm going to do big things here.
Do you all not take this as an admission that he did actually flirt with an NFL team at some point? Because if you're coming back to it weeks, I haven't heard anybody talk about this since the Rossini article came out. And now you feel the need to...
Other than that, I didn't know that there was that much buzz about Steve Sarkisian going anywhere.
It just feels like if you feel the need to go out there and say this, it's because there was something legitimate there at one point.
Well, here's the thing. Just like what's going on with Lane Kiffin, it's all about leverage. And Steve Sarkisian is also trying to get the topic of his football team swinging and missing this year. And Arch Manning's supposedly going to be a Heisman Trophy candidate. That was a swing and a miss. This football team, a swing and a miss. You're about to probably get the brakes beat in by your biggest rival, the Texas Longhorns. The Texas A&M. They're in Texas, in Austin.
They're going to be playing for an SEC championship. You're not.
Yeah.
They're going to be in a college football playoff. You're not.
Correct. So it's a way for him to kind of diffuse and kind of point to, hey, guys, like I'm, look at all the things we've done in the last 5 years.
The team you beat probably going to be playing for the college football playoff in Oklahoma.
Yep.
That stings a little bit.
Mm-hmm. It stings a lot.
And you see Lane Kiffin and his name being talked about every single day.
Yeah, your boy, your buddy.
And you're a little bit jealous.
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't they talking about me? I've gotten to an SEC championship game.
I've played for the college football playoff twice.
What's that guy done? He put me in a really bad spot several years ago.
Yeah, I lost the national championship game for Alabama because I had to call plays because Lane Kiffin got fired after the semifinal game.
Hey, do you want that phone call from Coach Saban? Hey, by the way, hope I'm not bothering you, but you're in charge of the offense now. Biggest game of the season.
Yeah, if only Bo Scarborough didn't snap his leg in half. What could have been?
It's always injuries with you.
It's always excuses with you.
Mechie.
Snapping legs.
Jamison Williams. Bo Scarborough.
We'll never know.
Do I need to bring up the fact that Alabama beat Georgia in an SEC championship with Brock Bowers?
I tore all the ligaments in my knee. Use the other one.
McConkey was injured. I'm just going over the script that Mike Griffith uses on Tuesdays.
I know. That's why we don't play the hypothetical game.
But Mike Griffith does tell us that he believes that if Mechie or Williams would have been healthy, that they would have beaten Georgia in the national championship game in Indy.
What if Georgia Tech
I agree
beats
with
Georgia?
that 100%, but it doesn't make
What if Georgia Tech beats Georgia?
Would that be something? And then Brent Key all of a sudden is the number one candidate for LSU.
For every job.
Yeah.
And the Titans.
Hey, did y'all know that if Carson Beck didn't decommit from Alabama, that Bryce Young wouldn't have ever gone there?
I've heard that a few times on Tuesdays.
Wait, what? Are you serious?
Oh, did you not? Yeah.
You're serious.
Pretty crazy, right?
Yeah.
Is that true?
That's what I've been told about 100 times.
You remember when Brock Vandegrift originally committed to Lincoln Riley at Oklahoma?
I did not. I forgot about that.
I'm just thinking what it would have helped him. I think he's
Remember when
retired from football now.
Brock Vandegrift and Carson Beck were apparently neck and neck in a quarterback battle for Georgia a year and a half ago.
I thought you were saying necking. I was like, what?
Well, I don't know what happens in the locker room.
Oh, my. For more than 4 decades, Alabama Professional Services, they've been your trusted choice for pest control, termite protection, lawn care, fertilization, and more. The certified statewide teams at APS, they're experts, they're friendly, efficient, and reliable. Call them today, 205-951-9717. Whether you're looking to safeguard your home from pests, keep your lawn healthy and green, APS can deliver proven solutions backed by dependable customer service. APS proudly serves surrounding areas all throughout the state of Alabama, including Birmingham and Huntsville, Montgomery. Call them today, 205-951-9717, or just simply go to their website, alabamaprofessional.com.
Oh, boy, do we have some texts. We will get to those next, the Thursday edition of 3 Man Front. Is this going to be part of the slideshow that Ole Miss faithful put together for one Lane Kiffin? You're really tough to live with, but golly, we can't imagine life without you. The 50 wins that you have brought this Ole Miss football program.
Oh, I thought this was going to be the PowerPoint that Sark showed to Arch Manning at the end of the season, and then afterwards he said, "There's the door."
Did he coin SIP? Come to the SIP? Is that his?
I'd never really heard it.
Does he take that with him to Baton Rouge if he leaves?
What is the saying? Come to the what?
SIP.
No, I know, but like if he goes to LSU.
Come to the Roo. I don't know.
Come to the place where the fans sip all day. I don't know.
Do some like
Who is
BR.
the-
for
I haven't
Baton
wrapped
Rouge.
my
Come to the
head.
Burr.
I haven't wrapped my head around that he's leaving. So you'll have to give me at least a day to come up with something catchy for the LSU folks.
When he tweeted that picture of the young lady's birthday party, who is that young lady?
Yeah, that was weird. I'm assuming that's like one because that's not Landry, was it?
No.
Guess it's one of Landry's friends.
Okay.
I
I didn't
guess.
know who it was.
Where's Landry in her coursework? We're going to get to the bottom of this.
Now, Landry's younger sister, who's a volleyball player at USC, is she pretty good at volleyball?
Sure. Couldn't tell you.
Get her stats.
Couldn't tell you. Yeah, I thought that
So
was
Landry's the oldest, and then there's the middle daughter, and then there's Knox.
Yeah.
Presley is her name.
Presley.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is she 21?
I don't think she is.
No, she's a freshman.
Because it looked like in the video he tweeted out that it was a 21st birthday party for whoever that was in the video. So you never know with Lane. He likes to post pictures of Landry and her sorority sisters, though. And
okay, I've seen if she played beach, because if she plays beach, then they'll be in Gulf Shores for the championships, and then we will get a lot of Lane Kiffin sightings down in Gulf Shores. And there's a ton of LSU fans that are always down there.
Well, when I was down in Gulf Shores, when I was staying at Mike Griffith's place, remember I told y'all they were having the big fishing competition down there, and Lane Kiffin was there the same time I was there. I just missed him. It was down at the wharf. There was all sorts of stuff on social media of Lane Kiffin.
Oh, that's right.
Was at the wharf when I was literally there a couple hours before he was there.
Presley she's indoor, so she's not a part of the beach squad.
so that's kind of like when me and my friends would go out in Tuscaloosa and be, "Oh, you just missed Lane Kiffin."
Which bar was it?
Saw him at a couple places.
Couple places.
Is that crazy to be playing volleyball at the school that left your dad on the tarmac when they fired him? Guess it doesn't matter. Well, you know what, though? If you're one of Lane's kids, you've seen a lot.
She must be pretty good, though, because something tells me if you're like kind of borderline,
No, she's good.
I probably wouldn't be going to USC and dealing with all the, you know what your daddy did to us? Yeah.
Do you think anybody on campus really cares?
No, they're all trying to be movie stars or whatever. What is it? The University of Spoiled Children?
That's where I think the hang up is with a guy like Lincoln Riley. He's just another piece in that big puzzle that is the University of Spoiled Children, according to the UCLA parents. Anyways.